Make her obsessed with this simple forbidden nickname trick. Psychology tricks. There's one word you can say to a woman that will make her think about you for days, even weeks. And no, it's not baby. In fact, that's the one that kills attraction faster than anything else. Here's what most men don't realize. When you call her baby, you think you're being affectionate, sweet, caring, but what she actually feels is predictability. She's heard it 1,000 times before from men who were too eager, too available, too soft. It doesn't spark emotion. It tells her exactly what kind of man you are, and not in a good way. That's why she drifts. That's why she loses interest even when you're doing everything right. Because words without power mean nothing. But here's the secret. The right nickname said at the right moment with the right tone bypasses her logic and hits her subconscious. It stirs something primal. It makes her feel seen in a way no compliment ever could. It's not about being romantic. It's about being unforgettable. In this video, you'll learn how to use what I call the forbidden nickname, a name that flips the emotional switch inside her, the one that makes her curious, slightly off balance, and deeply drawn to your energy. We'll break down why it works, when to use it, and how to make her crave hearing it again and again. This isn't manipulation. It's psychology grounded in stoic control, emotional discipline, and masculine restraint. Let's get into it. Number 1. The wrong nicknames that kill attraction. Most men believe that calling a woman baby, sweetheart, or honey is the fast track to closeness, that it sounds warm, caring, even irresistible. But here is the truth you must understand if you care about attraction, psychology tricks, and truly mastering female psychology and how to fall in love in a way that actually lasts. Those words don't build desire, they quietly dissolve it. They don't create tension, they erase it. Because what you think feels affectionate often feels predictable to her, and predictability is the silent killer of attraction. So don't assume that being soft with your words makes you memorable, because it usually makes you forgettable, and that is where most men lose without even realizing it. Take a real-life example. A man in his 52nd, stable, successful, emotionally ready, meets a woman who is intrigued by his calm presence. Instead of letting that intrigue grow, he rushes to label her with the same recycled nickname every other man has used, and in doing so, he unknowingly communicates something deeper, not strength, not mystery, but emotional eagerness. And eagerness without tension removes the very spark that attraction feeds on. So be careful, because attraction is not built on comfort alone. It is built on contrast, on curiosity, on the subtle question in her mind that keeps asking, who is this man really? And the moment you answer that question too quickly with predictable language, you remove the reason for her to keep discovering you. Understand this clearly. Women do not respond primarily to the literal words you say. They respond to the emotional signal behind those words, and this is where psychology tricks and female psychology become essential. Because when you call her baby too soon, it doesn't land as charm, it lands as familiarity. And familiarity signals that you are already invested, already available, already easy to read. And when a man becomes easy to read too early, he becomes easy to lose interest in, not because she dislikes him, but because there is nothing left to explore. And attraction, by its nature, thrives on the unknown. That is why you must learn restraint, because restraint is power. And power in communication is not about saying more, it is about saying less with intention. As Epictetus once taught, control your tongue and your mind will follow. In modern terms, don't speak just to fill silence. Don't label her just to feel closer. Don't rush to create intimacy before it has been earned. Because when you do, you are not building connection, you are skipping the very process that makes connection meaningful. Instead, be the man who observes, who listens, who holds his words with discipline. Because silence, when used correctly, is not emptiness, it is tension. It is space. It is the invisible force that makes her lean in, wonder, and invest emotionally. And when you finally choose to give her a nickname, it should not sound like something she has heard 100 times before. It should feel like something that belongs only to the dynamic between you and her, something specific, something earned, something that carries weight because you did not give it away freely. That is the difference between average behavior and intentional behavior. And if you are serious about understanding how to fall in love in a way that creates real attraction, you must stop copying what every other man is doing and start observing what actually works beneath the surface. Because psychology tricks are not about manipulation, they're about awareness, about understanding how emotional signals are perceived, and about aligning your behavior with what naturally creates desire rather than what feels comfortable in the moment. So don't fall into the trap of thinking that more affection equals more attraction, because often the opposite is true. And this is where many men get confused. They think they are doing everything right, being kind, being attentive, being expressive, yet they slowly feel her pulling away and they don't understand why. But the answer is simple. They remove the tension, they remove the mystery, they remove the emotional edge that keeps attraction alive. And once that edge is gone, everything becomes flat, predictable, safe. And safe does not create obsession, it creates familiarity. And familiarity rarely excites. So here is what you must do. Be deliberate, be patient, be aware of the energy behind your words. Use her name. Hold eye contact. Let moments breathe without rushing to fill them. And most importantly, don't give away emotional labels too early. Because when you delay gratification in communication, you increase its value. And when your words have value, they carry impact. And when they carry impact, they create emotional imprint, and that is what makes a woman think about you long after the conversation ends. Remember this: attraction is not about what you say, it is about what she feels when you say it. And often, it is about what she feels when you choose not to say anything at all. So, if you want to master female psychology, if you want to truly understand psychology tricks, and if you want to learn how to fall in love in a way that creates depth, tension, and lasting connection, then stop trying to impress with words and start leading with presence. Because a man who speaks less but means more will always stand out in a world full of noise, and that quiet, controlled energy is what makes her curious, what makes her invested, and ultimately, what makes her unable to forget you. Number 2. The forbidden name that drives her wild. The forbidden name that drives her wild. Every man thinks he needs the perfect word to make a woman fall for him. That is the illusion. The truth is simpler and far more powerful. It's not about the word. It's about what that word awakens in her, what it stirs beneath the surface, what it quietly suggests without ever needing to explain itself. You must understand this. A high-value man doesn't chase clever lines. He embodies meaning. He speaks less, but every word lands deeper. The forbidden nickname isn't cute. It isn't predictable. It isn't the soft, overused language she has heard 1,000 times before. It's primal. It slips past her logic and reaches something instinctive. The part of her that wants to feel seen, not just liked. The part of her that responds to a man with grounded masculine energy, not one seeking approval. That is why words like trouble, witch, or little storm hit differently. They don't flatter. They reveal. They create a subtle tension. And tension, not comfort, is what you use to attract women. You see, women don't respond to words the way men think they do. They respond to symbols. A nickname, when used correctly, becomes a symbol. It becomes a mirror. It reflects back an identity she didn't expect, yet somehow feels drawn to explore. When you call her baby, you give her something safe, something familiar, something forgettable. But when you call her trouble, you introduce contrast. You suggest there's more to her. You challenge her gently. And in that moment, she leans in, not away. But don't misunderstand this. Don't rush it. Don't force it. The nickname itself has no power without the man behind it. You must be calm. You must be grounded. That is where most men fail. They try to use the word as a trick instead of letting it flow naturally from their presence. And she feels that instantly. If your voice carries doubt, the word collapses. If your energy is steady, even a whisper can stay with her for days. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. That is not just philosophy. That is practical truth. Your inner state shapes every word you say. If you think like a high-value man, your words will carry weight. If you feel centered in your masculine energy, Your tone alone will create impact. That is why you must focus on your state first, not your lines. Use the nickname sparingly. That is critical. Don't repeat it. Don't overuse it. Say it once, then let silence do the rest. Let her sit with it. Let her replay it in her mind. That gap, that absence, creates curiosity. And curiosity is the beginning of emotional investment. This is how you attract women without chasing them. Not through repetition, but through restraint. And remember this clearly. This is not manipulation. This is awareness. This is understanding polarity. A man who sees her, acknowledges her, but does not overindulge her, creates a natural push and pull. You step closer, then you step back. You give just enough, then you hold space. That tension is what keeps her engaged. That is what makes her wonder about you, think about you, feel drawn to you. So be still. Don't chase reactions. Observe them. Let your words come from composure, not excitement. When you stop trying to impress her, something shifts. Your presence becomes enough. Your voice becomes memorable. Your silence becomes powerful. That is the energy of a high-value man. In the end, it's not the nickname that drives her wild. It's the man behind it. The calm, the restraint, the quiet confidence, the unmistakable masculine energy that doesn't need to prove itself. That is what she feels. That is what she remembers. And that is what keeps her coming back, trying to understand, trying to feel it again. If this hits something deep in you, don't just watch. Step into it. Drop a comment right now. I speak with calm power. Like the video, subscribe for more sharp, unapologetic wisdom, and remember this: attraction isn't in the words you use. It's in the energy you carry. Number 3. Why baby kills her desire fast. Number 3, understand this clearly. The word baby is not building attraction. It is quietly draining it, and if you don't see this, you will repeat the same mistake again and again. It sounds warm, it feels easy, it looks affectionate, but attraction does not grow in what is easy. It grows in what is felt, in what is earned, in what is slightly out of reach, and that is where most men lose the game without even realizing it. Every time you say, baby, you believe you are creating closeness, but in reality, you are creating predictability, and as Oscar Wilde once said, there is only one thing in the world worse than being talked about, and that is not being talked about. But here is the twist. Being too predictable is just as dangerous as being ignored, because mystery is what keeps a woman emotionally engaged. Look at David, 55, successful, composed, respected, yet he lost the emotional edge, not because he lacked value, but because he became too available, too familiar, too easy to read. Rachel didn't lose interest in him as a man. She lost interest in the feeling he once created, the feeling of curiosity, anticipation, and emotional tension. This is where old Stoic wisdom comes in, reminding you that what is constant loses value, and what is restrained gains power, just as Seneca taught. He who is everywhere is nowhere. Meaning, if your affection is always present, it becomes invisible. It becomes background noise. It loses its impact. You must understand this deeply. Attraction is not built on constant reassurance. It is built on emotional contrast, on moments that stand out, on words that carry weight because they are not overused. When you call her baby repeatedly, you are not elevating her experience. You are flattening it. You are turning something that should feel special into something that feels routine, and routine does not inspire desire. Routine creates comfort, and comfort without tension leads to emotional distance. This is why she begins to pull away, not because she dislikes you, but because she no longer feels the spark. And here is the truth you must accept. A woman does not stay captivated by a man she fully understands too quickly. She stays captivated by a man she is still discovering. This is the mindset of an iron mind, a man who does not act out of impulse, but out of awareness, a man who understands that every word he uses either builds attraction or weakens it. Stoicism win is about discipline, not suppression. It is about choosing your actions with intention, and in modern life, where messages are constant and attention is cheap, restraint becomes even more powerful because very few men practice it. Do not rush to label her. Do not rush to soften your presence. Do not rush to prove your feelings through repetitive words. Instead, be measured, be selective, be intentional. Show warmth, but not all at once. Give attention, but not endlessly. Let her feel that there is more to you that she has not yet reached, because that is what keeps her engaged. That is what keeps her leaning in. Remember this from Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. And your words are part of that power. Your restraint is part of that power. Your silence, your timing, your choice of expression. That is where attraction is shaped. So stop thinking that more affection equals more desire. It does not, it never has, and it never will. Your strength lies in control. Your value lies in how you present yourself, and your impact lies in what you choose not to overuse. Old Stoic wisdom teaches patience. Stoicism teaches discipline, and an iron mind executes both without hesitation. If you want her to feel something real, something lasting, something that stays in her mind long after you are gone, then stop giving everything away too soon and start becoming the man whose presence feels earned, not guaranteed. Number 4. How the right word hits her subconscious. Number 4. Understand this clearly, because it separates men who are heard from men who are felt. Most men speak to a woman's ears, but very few ever reach her inner world. That is why you must stop focusing on what sounds nice and start focusing on what creates emotion. Women respond to feeling, not wording. The right phrase, delivered with intention, doesn't just sit on the surface, it slips into her subconscious, quietly, deeply, and lingers there long after the conversation ends. This is where real attraction lives. This is where true psychology tricks begin to work, because you are no longer trying to impress her mind. You are awakening her emotional awareness. The wrong nickname feels empty because it carries no weight, no meaning, no presence. But the right one, it echoes. It makes her pause. It makes her feel something she cannot easily explain. And that is exactly what female psychology reveals about how to fall in love. Emotion always comes before logic. You are not speaking to her surface personality. You are speaking to something deeper, something more instinctive. That is why the so-called forbidden nickname works, not because it is clever, but because it reflects something back to her that she already senses within herself, but rarely hears expressed. When you call her trouble, it is not just a word, it is a recognition. When you say little storm, it is not a label, it is an emotional mirror. You are showing her that you see beyond the obvious. And that creates tension. That creates curiosity. That creates a spark. But listen carefully, because this is where most men fail. Delivery matters more than the word itself. You must not say it from a place of need. Don't chase a reaction. Don't look for approval. Be grounded. Be centered. Because the moment your energy shifts into seeking validation, the word loses its power instantly. She will feel it. She always does. Female psychology is incredibly sensitive to intention. That is why two men can say the exact same thing and get completely different results. One creates attraction, the other creates nothing. The difference is presence. As Epictetus once said, first say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. That is your foundation. Decide who you are before you speak. If you carry calm confidence, your words will carry it. If you carry uncertainty, your words will expose it. That is why some men can say very little and still leave a strong impression, while others talk endlessly and leave no trace. You must understand this deeply. Attraction is not built through quantity, it is built through impact. Speak less. Mean more. Let silence work for you. Because silence is not empty, it is powerful. After you say the right word, pause. Let it settle. Let her mind do the work. This is one of the most overlooked psychology tricks in how to fall in love. Imagination is far more powerful than explanation. When you give her space, she fills it with thoughts about you. She replays your voice. She reinterprets your meaning. She becomes emotionally involved without you forcing anything. That is where desire begins to grow. The word plants the seed, but the silence allows it to take root. And if you truly want to master this, you must practice awareness and discipline. Don't rush. Don't overuse it. Be intentional. Because restraint signals strength. The less you try to prove, the more she feels. That is the quiet truth behind female psychology and attraction. When you understand this, you stop chasing attention. You naturally draw it in. If this opened your eyes, don't just scroll past, apply it. Speak less, feel more, and let your presence do the work. Like the video, subscribe for deeper mastery, and step into the kind of man whose words actually linger. Now drop this in the comments to lock it in your mind. The right word means nothing without the right presence. Number 5. When to say it and when to pull back. Timing is everything. You can have the perfect word, the right tone, and a grounded presence, but say it at the wrong moment and it falls flat. That is where most men fail. Not in the word, but in the timing. They rush it. They overuse it. They throw it out before any emotional tension exists, or they repeat it so often that it becomes predictable, dull, and forgettable. Don't do that. Be precise. Be patient. You must understand this. The forbidden nickname only works when it is rare, unexpected, and wrapped in silence before and after. That silence is not emptiness. That silence is pressure. And pressure creates emotion. Let's make it real. Eric, 54, a construction manager from Seattle, had been seeing Megan, 40, for a few weeks. She was sharp, independent, a woman used to leading, not following. One evening at dinner, she leaned in and teased him, poking at his calm nature. She said he never reacted, never lost composure, never showed cracks. Now most men, in that moment, would defend themselves. They would talk more, try to prove something, try to match her energy. But Eric didn't. He paused, looked at her, smiled slightly, then said just 2 words, "You're trouble." And then nothing. He leaned back. No explanation. No follow-up. No chasing. That pause changed everything. Megan stopped laughing. Her expression softened. The energy shifted. Not because of the word itself, but because of when it was said and what followed. Silence. Space. Mystery. That is power. That is masculine energy in action. A high-value man does not rush to fill space. He lets moments breathe. He lets tension build. He allows a woman to feel instead of forcing her to react. This is the real secret of timing. You don't say it when she's asking for validation. You don't say it when things are easy and predictable. You say it when she is testing you, when she is teasing you, when she is trying to figure you out. That is the moment. That is where attraction lives. Say it calmly, slowly. Hold eye contact. Then stop. Let the silence carry the weight. Let her sit in that feeling. That is how you attract women without chasing them. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Let your words be few and your actions fair." That is not just philosophy. That is practical power. When your words are few, they matter more. When your speech is measured, it lands deeper. A high-value man does not talk to impress. He speaks to impact. And sometimes, the greatest impact comes from what he chooses not to say. Now here is where most men lose control. They see the reaction. They feel the shift. And they get excited. They repeat the word too soon. The next day, the next message, hoping to recreate the same spark. But that is a mistake. Don't do that. Repetition kills mystery. Familiarity drains emotion. What once felt sharp becomes soft. What once sparked curiosity becomes background noise. And once that happens, the magic is gone. You must practice restraint. That is discipline. That is masculine energy at its core. The power of the forbidden nickname comes from scarcity. The less you use it, the more it echoes in her mind. Think of it like perfume. 1 drop lingers. Too much overwhelms and disappears. A high-value man understands this instinctively. He does not flood the moment. He controls it. Eric understood this. After that dinner, he didn't say trouble again for almost 2 weeks. He didn't chase the feeling. He didn't try to recreate the moment. He stayed grounded. And then something interesting happened. Megan brought it up herself, half smiling, half curious. "So, am I still trouble?" That is when you know it worked. That is when you know she has been thinking about it, replaying it, feeling it again in her mind. This is not manipulation. This is human psychology. The mind becomes fascinated with what it cannot predict. It returns to moments that felt different, charged, unfinished. When you give her a word with emotional weight and then you step back, you create space. And in that space, her imagination begins to work. She fills in the gaps. She builds the meaning. She invests emotionally without you forcing it. So here is the rule. Timing is not just about when to speak. It is about when to stay silent. The word is only the spark. The silence is what allows it to burn. Don't rush in to explain. Don't seek validation. Don't ask, "Did you like that?" That kills the moment instantly. Be still. Be grounded. Let her come to you. You must be intentional. Wait for the unexpected moment, the moment she is not prepared. Then deliver the word with calm certainty. No hesitation. No overthinking. Then pull back. That is how you attract women. That is how you create emotional tension without effort. That is how a high-value man operates, controlled, measured, and quietly powerful. And remember this, masculine energy is not loud. It is not forceful. It is calm, steady, and precise. It knows when to act and when to hold back. That is what separates men who are remembered from men who are ignored. If you truly understand this, don't just read it, apply it. And if you've ever seen this dynamic play out in real life, leave a comment below and say, "I've seen this." Number 6. Mystery makes her addicted to you. Number 6. Mystery makes her addicted to you, and if you don't understand this, you will always feel like you are chasing instead of being chased. Listen carefully. If you want a woman to think about you long after you're gone, stop trying to explain yourself fully. Stop trying to be perfectly understood. That instinct, that urge to clarify everything, to show all your cards, to make sure she gets you, that is exactly what drains attraction. Mystery, not explanation, is what keeps her engaged. It's what keeps her replaying moments, rethinking your words, feeling your presence even when you're absent. This is not theory. This is human nature. As Albert Einstein once said, the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. That applies to attraction more than most men realize. You must understand this clearly. When a woman feels like she has fully figured you out, curiosity fades. And when curiosity fades, emotional energy fades with it. That is the moment attraction begins to weaken. Not because you did something wrong, but because you became predictable. And predictability kills emotional tension. In modern life, where everything is instant, messages, replies, attention, men think they need to give more, show more, say more. Wrong. That is exactly why they are overlooked. A man who follows old Stoic wisdom knows better. He knows that less, when done right, becomes more. He knows that silence, when used with intention, speaks louder than endless talking. Here's the paradox you must embrace. She is not drawn to what she can easily define. She is drawn to what she can feel but cannot fully explain. The more you reveal too soon, the less she feels the need to explore you. The more you hold back, the more she leans in. The more she invests emotionally trying to understand you. That is where the shift happens. That is where you move from chasing attention to creating presence. This is Stoicism when in action. This is how an iron mind operates in the world of attraction. Now understand the power of the forbidden nickname. It is not just a word. It is a trigger, a suggestion, a doorway that you open but never fully walk through. You say it once, calmly, confidently, then you step back. You do not explain. You do not justify. You let it sit. You let it echo. That is where the magic happens. Because her mind begins to work. She replays it. She wonders. She questions. What did he mean? Why did he say it like that? And slowly, without effort, you begin to occupy space in her thoughts. Not because you chased her, but because you gave her something incomplete, something unresolved. And the human mind always seeks resolution. That is what creates emotional tension. Not constant communication, not endless validation. Tension, space, silence. The gap between what is said and what is understood. That silent conversation happening in her mind when you are not there, that is where attraction deepens. That is where she starts to feel something stronger than simple interest. Because now she is participating, she is investing, she is imagining. And her imagination will always be more powerful than anything you could explain directly. But listen carefully. Mystery is not about playing games. It is not about pretending. It is not about being cold or distant. It is about control, emotional control, self-command, knowing when to speak, knowing when to pause, knowing when to let the moment breathe. This is where most men fail. They react. They rush. They overshare. They text too quickly. They explain too much. Why? Because they seek validation. And the moment you seek validation, you lose leverage. A man grounded in old Stoic wisdom does the opposite. He values his composure more than her reaction. He values his internal stability more than external approval. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Apply that here. If you control your impulses, you control the dynamic. If you don't, the dynamic controls you. You must become selective. You must reveal yourself in layers, like a man laying down cards one at a time. Not all at once, not out of fear, but out of discipline. That is iron mind energy. That is what separates a man who attracts naturally from one who constantly tries. And trying too hard is always felt. Always. When mystery is combined with presence, it becomes powerful. You are not distant. You are not unavailable. You are there, grounded, calm, engaged, but not fully readable. She can feel you, but she cannot fully decode you. And that uncertainty, that slight tension, that unanswered question, that is what keeps her emotionally hooked. Because deep down, she doesn't just want to understand. She wants to feel. And feelings grow stronger in uncertainty than in certainty. So when you use the forbidden nickname, understand the rule. Say it once, then let it breathe. Do not chase it with explanation. Do not dilute it with overtalking. Let silence do the work. Let her fill in the blanks. Let her curiosity expand. That is how she becomes attached, not to constant attention, but to the space you create. Not to what you say, but to what she feels when she thinks about you. This is the discipline of Stoicism win. This is the strength of an iron mind. The ability to hold back when others rush forward. The ability to stay composed when others seek attention. The ability to let presence speak louder than words. So remember this clearly. Do not flood her with attention. Give her tension. Do not try to be completely transparent. Be grounded. Be steady. Be slightly unreadable. That is where attraction lives. That is where curiosity grows. That is where she begins to fall, not because you pushed, but because she leaned in. And when she starts trying to figure you out, when she replays your words, when she feels your presence even when you're gone, that is when you know. You are no longer chasing. You are being felt. If you felt that, don't hesitate. Drop a comment right now. I felt that. Number 7. Speak to her emotions, not her logic. Number 7. Speak to her emotions, not her logic, because this is where most men quietly lose without even realizing it. They believe attraction is built through explanation, through proving, through stacking facts like evidence in a courtroom. Don't do that. That is the mistake. Women don't fall for explanations. They fall for feelings. You cannot logically argue your way into her heart. You must move her. You must stir something inside her that she cannot fully explain. Every word you speak either creates emotional movement or shuts it down completely. That is the line. That is the game. Men who understand this never struggle with attention because they are not chasing it, they are creating it. This is where psychology tricks, female psychology, and understanding how to fall in love all come together in a powerful, practical way. Look at Mark, 57, a retired pilot. He did what most men do. He tried to impress. He shared stories. He talked about achievements, travel, experience. On paper, it was perfect. But attraction doesn't live on paper. It lives in emotion. And slowly, Vanessa's energy faded. Her eyes wandered. Her responses slowed. Not because Mark lacked value, but because he failed to translate that value into feeling. He gave her information instead of sensation. He made her think instead of feel. That is the difference. That is everything. Now shift the lens. Imagine instead of listing facts, he leaned into emotion and said, "You know what I miss most about flying? That moment right before takeoff, when everything is shaking and you know something powerful is about to happen. That line changes everything. It creates tension. It creates imagery. It pulls her into a shared emotional experience. She doesn't just hear it, she feels it. That is how to fall in love. Not through logic, but through emotional immersion. These are the psychology tricks that separate men who are remembered from men who are forgotten. And this is deeply rooted in female psychology. Women respond to emotional energy first, words second. The words are just vehicles. The feeling is the destination. The so-called forbidden nickname works the same way. It's not about the label itself. It's about the emotion behind it. When you call her something playful, symbolic, slightly unexpected, like trouble or witch, you are not defining her. You are evoking a feeling. You are creating curiosity. You are activating her playful side. You are speaking directly to her emotional world without needing explanation. That is precision. That is mastery. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Understand this deeply. Your words color her emotional state. If you speak with calm confidence, she feels grounded. If your tone carries depth and certainty, she feels safe. And when safety meets excitement, something powerful happens. Attraction intensifies. Connection deepens. Obsession begins, not forced, not manipulated, but naturally formed through emotional resonance. Men who over-explain destroy this balance. They stay in her head. They keep her analyzing, evaluating, thinking. But emotion is what creates memory. Emotion is what creates attachment. She will not remember your facts. She will remember how she felt sitting across from you, the tone of your voice, the subtle tension in your words, the energy you brought into the moment. That is what she craves. That is what she returns for. This is why storytelling, tone, and timing matter more than the actual content. Speak from experience, not from ego. Describe sensations, not just situations. Don't say what happened, show how it felt. Let her step into your world emotionally. That is how you create connection without effort. That is how you apply psychology tricks in a way that feels natural, not forced. That is how female psychology truly works. And this is how to fall in love without chasing it, by becoming the emotional experience she doesn't want to lose. Mark learned this. He stopped performing. He stopped trying to impress. Instead, he leaned in and said, "You have that kind of energy that makes it hard to stay calm." Simple, direct, emotional. And it worked. Not because the words were complex, but because the feeling was clear. Vanessa smiled. Not at the logic, but at the emotion. That is your lesson. Don't overload her mind. Engage her heart. Don't explain yourself endlessly. Express something she can feel instantly. Be precise. Be intentional. Be emotionally aware. Because in the end, women don't fall for what they hear. They fall for what they feel. And if you can create a feeling she can't forget, you won't need to chase her attention. She will bring it to you, again and again, without you asking. Number 8. Name her energy, not her need. This is the line that quietly separates the man who naturally draws women in from the one who keeps wondering why he ends up being just a friend. Understand this clearly. Women don't want you to explain them. They don't want you to analyze their words like a therapist trying to solve a case. They want you to feel them. That is the difference. When you name her need, you step into a role that feels heavy, almost parental. You sound like you are fixing, correcting, or trying too hard to prove that you get it. Don't do that. Be the man who senses, not the man who diagnoses. That is what a high-value man understands at a deep level. He doesn't chase clarity through logic. He reads emotion through presence. When you name her energy instead, everything changes. You are no longer talking about what she says she wants. You are speaking to what she actually feels beneath the surface. And that is where attraction lives. The difference is subtle, but powerful. Naming her need sounds like, "You just want attention," or "You're feeling insecure right now." That kills tension. It feels invasive. It puts her on the spot. But naming her energy sounds like, you've got this playful chaos about you tonight, or there's something dangerous in your smile right now. Do you see it? One feels like analysis. The other feels like recognition. One closes her off. The other opens her up. That is why the forbidden nickname works. It doesn't explain her behavior. It captures her essence. It touches something deeper, something she doesn't even consciously label. And when you can reach that level, you don't just attract women, you stay in their mind long after you've left the room. Think about it like this. When you walk into a room, you don't just see people, you feel them. Some bring calm, some bring tension, some bring excitement. Women are deeply tuned into this emotional layer, and they are constantly asking, without words, does this man see me beyond what I show? When you answer that question without trying, just by calmly naming her energy, you step into rare territory. You become the man who understands without effort. That is masculine energy at its finest. Quiet, observant, grounded, not reactive, not needy, just present. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology tried to explain it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That includes her words, her tests, her moods. Don't react to them on the surface. Go deeper. The man who stays centered, who reads beneath behavior instead of reacting to it, is the man who controls the frame. He is not thrown off by her teasing, her silence, or her unpredictability. He sees it for what it is, energy, and he meets it with awareness, not confusion. That is why he can attract women without forcing anything. Let's make this real. Imagine she's teasing you, laughing a little louder than usual, giving you that look that's half challenge, half curiosity. Most men panic here. They try to explain, defend, or match her energy in a clumsy way. Don't. That is where attraction dies. Instead, you stay calm. You smile slightly. And you say something simple, like, "You've got that dangerous energy tonight." Short, clear, no overthinking. And suddenly, something shifts. Her guard drops just a little. Why? Because you didn't react to her behavior, you understood her vibe. You saw her without exposing her. That creates instant chemistry. This is what emotional mastery actually looks like. Not control, not suppression, awareness. You are not reading her words. You are reading her presence. You are not trying to win her over. You are tuning into what already exists between you. That is why this approach feels effortless when done right, because it is not a trick. It is perception. And perception is what separates the average man from the high-value man. One chases responses. The other creates connection. But listen carefully. This only works if it comes from real stillness. You cannot fake this. You cannot use it as a tactic to manipulate. The moment you try to get something from her, your energy shifts. It becomes needy. It becomes forced. And she will feel it instantly. Women are highly sensitive to intention. That is why masculine energy must be grounded, calm, unshaken. You are not there to impress. You are there to experience. That is the mindset that allows you to attract women naturally without chasing validation. Remember this truth. Women live in emotion, but they are drawn to a man who can hold that emotion without being consumed by it. That is your role. Not to fix, not to analyze, to contain, to create space where her emotions can exist without chaos. And when you name her energy, you show her exactly that. You show her that you see her, you feel her, but you are not overwhelmed by her. That combination, safety and excitement, is rare. And rarity is what creates attraction. So next time you're with her, stop overthinking. Stop trying to figure out what she wants. Watch her. Listen beyond her words. Notice how she moves, how she breathes, how her eyes linger or pull away. Then speak to that. Simply, calmly. No performance. No pressure. Just awareness. And you will notice something powerful. Her body responds. Her energy softens or intensifies. Not because of the word itself, but because of what it represents. She feels seen, not analyzed, not judged. Seen. And that is the real secret behind the forbidden nickname. It is not about the nickname at all. It is about the level of awareness behind it. The presence, the restraint, the quiet confidence. That is what makes a man unforgettable. That is what builds real attraction. So don't chase the perfect words. Be the man who understands the moment. Be the man who names energy, not need. That is how you step into your masculine energy. That is how a high value man moves. And that is how you truly attract women without effort, without noise, and without ever losing yourself. If you made it all the way to the end, that tells me something about you. You're not here for surface level tricks. You're here to understand the deeper game, the psychology, the emotional signals, the quiet power that most men never take the time to master. So if this opened your eyes even a little, don't just keep it to yourself. Take 1 second to like the video. Share it with a friend who's still trying too hard, saying too much, or missing the subtle things that actually make a difference. And make sure you subscribe, because what we talk about here isn't common advice. It's the kind of insight that changes how you show up in every interaction. Now I want to hear from you. Be honest. Have you ever experienced how one simple word said at the right moment can completely shift the energy between you and a woman? Or maybe you've never tried it, but now you're starting to see how powerful it can be. Either way, drop your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective matters here, and the discussion only gets stronger when you're part of it. And before you leave, I want you to anchor this mindset. Write this down in the comments, not for me, but for yourself. I don't chase attention. I create presence. Read it again. That's the difference. That's the shift. That's what separates the man who gets ignored from the man who gets remembered. Until next time, stay calm, stay intentional, and remember, real attraction isn't loud, it's felt.